everybody and welcome back. We are here for the Tuesday Trash to Treasure video. Now, last week you may have noticed that there is a video missing from last week. That's only because Sophie and I did a live video in Sophie's Facebook group. I will put the link down below if you want to go and check that out. Because it was in Sophie's Facebook group and she was the host and I was like a guest invited, I'm not able to download the video because my original hope was that I can download it and then I can upload it here to YouTube so that people that have been following along can see that live as well. But as I said, I'm not able to do that, I think because it's in Sophie's Facebook group, and then I was obviously invited as a guest. But what we've decided is that once a month we're going to do a live in the Facebook groups, but we're going to alternate. So next time we do the live, it will be in the Non-Stop Papercrafts Facebook group, and then hopefully I should be able to download it and then I can upload it to YouTube. But it was such fun last week doing the live. We actually started working in our journals and doing some art journaling. So if you did miss it, I'll just give you a little sneak peek as to what I did last week. So I just focused on this first page. So I just did a little bit of sort of collaging and colouring on this part, but this is the main spread that I did. So just playing around with some of the negatives I've got where I've been cutting out, die cutting letters. The same here, I've got some love hearts and some foliage that I did. And then, yeah, just sort of layering it up with different colours, different textures. And then just, yeah, having a play, really. It was a fun live. I'm not very good with lives. My videos on YouTube are generally very heavily edited because I try and leave out as many as the ums, and my brain tends to have a bit of a freeze and I can't remember what I'm saying, so I have to have a moment to kind of pause and think about where I was going with the point I was making. So quite often I do edit these videos quite a lot, so lives always worry me. However, I think it felt more comfortable because I had Sophie there with me as well, so at least if my brain was having a moment, there's somebody else there that can do some talking. So we really enjoyed it. The people that were watching said that they enjoyed it as well. So as I said, it would be nice to do that once a month, but all the other videos you will see on the channel. I'll still be doing those every Tuesday as normal, but if you notice that there is a gap, it's possibly because we've done the live. So, on to week 2 then of actually art journaling. So as I said, this one was last week when we were doing the live. Now, I'm not necessarily going to do this in any order, this art book. But I do like the fact that it lays flat. That was one of the reasons I did this design. And the way I'm going to approach each page is recently, and I did do a video for this, I purchased the Colour Cube Volume 1 box by Sarah Renee Clark. I have got a video, as I say, about this to sort of share the box with you if you're not sure what this is. But I bought it with the donations and things that people have sent me on Ko-fi. And basically you get a box of cards that give you a picture and a colour palette. They even give you, I believe it's called the hex code, and different shades of the same colour. They give you the name of the colour. And they're really good for if you are colouring and you're trying to find a good colour scheme. Obviously, I design digital, so this is going to hopefully be really helpful when I'm designing digitals and creating those colour palettes. And I thought I'd test them out today to see if I can create a page using a colour palette. So I've just randomly picked a card from the box and I've gone with card 83, and it has these colours that you can see down at the bottom. So what I have done is I've tried to go through my stash and my things and try to pull out those colours. Now, you're not necessarily going to get exactly the same shade, so I've gone as close as I can. So I've got these distress crayons that I got from a D-Stash group, and I did use these in the live last week, and I decided that they are super fun to use. So I've got this blue, which I realise isn't quite the same colour blue, but it's close enough for me. I've got this one, which is a tattered rose, but it's so pale it's almost like paper-like, so I've got that one for that colour. And then I've got Mowed Lawn, which closely resembles that colour there. And then for the dark green, I've got this old file folder, and I thought that matches that quite nicely. And then for the kind of sandy, darker brown, I've got this craft card, which also closely matches it. So I'm going to use these elements, and then I was thinking for a focal point. So I'm going to use some other papers as well in the backgrounds, because they are still kind of the neutral colours. But as a focal point, I found these stickers. I think these were sent to me in some Happy Mail. But again, we've got the mushrooms, which have the 2 tones of the different browns. And then the green we've got here in the butterflies as well. So I was thinking of having some of those on the page as well. So that's what I'm going to use as kind of a focal point. I've also got a die here. So I was thinking of doing some die cuts of these in these colours, and then adding those to the page somewhere, somehow. So that's what I'm thinking. So I think to start with, I'm going to do some collaging, start adding my base colour, and then I can start adding the other bits and pieces on top. So I just want to borrow this very quickly, because I think this ledger paper isn't any of those colours, is it? So I'm going to get rid of the ledger paper. I mean, this is paler than this, but I'm going to go over it with the crayons anyway. So actually, technically, I could use the ledger paper, couldn't I? So yeah, I might do. And then where's that other piece that I had? Was it that? I mean, that does closely fit to this colour as well, doesn't it? So that's what I'm going with for my inspiration. So I'm going to move this over. I think I'm going to start on this page. Now, like I said, this book doesn't necessarily have to be in order. I'm not really fussed about that. But I am going to start here. So I'm just going to start by collaging. So I think I'm going to collage with these pieces first. And yeah, I'm just going to start applying things and sticking things down. So let's just... So thank you if you did join the live in the Facebook group. Now I know lots of people don't use Facebook and have no interest in Facebook. So if you didn't attend, that's obviously absolutely fine. Like I said, I was hoping to have been able to download the video and upload it here, but unfortunately, like I said, because, and I think it's because of that, because I was not the person actually hosting, because when I was trying to look online, you have the option if it's you doing it, because you kind of click near where your picture is and you get 3 little dots and there's an option to download, but I didn't have that. And like I said, I'm assuming it's because it wasn't my live, essentially. But I don't know if that's correct, if that's right, but that's what I kind of assumed. So I have pretty much run out of my Barely Art glue, which is why I am now using this clear glue. This is Collage all-purpose glue, which is still an amazing glue. It's still very good. But it doesn't come out of this bottle particularly easily. I think there's a bit of dried up glue that's kind of stuck in there, and it just keeps bobbing in and out of where the funnel part is. So sometimes the glue flows brilliantly, other times it doesn't. But it is a really nice glue. I do like the Collage glue. It does stick, but it's got a smell. So if you're somebody that's rather sensitive to smells, then you're possibly not going to like this glue. I'm not too bothered. You might be able to hear. I don't know. But I'm starting to get a bit of a cold. So at the moment I can't smell anything anyway. So I'm trying my best not to do too much mouth breathing and sounding all Darth Vader-ish. Right, so let's... Okay, I do want something down here because I've kind of created a hinge here. So I want to cover that up. I mean, it doesn't actually matter because... Yeah, actually, I'm thinking it doesn't actually matter because obviously I'm going to be adding different colours and things anyway. So I might put that along there and try and start adding some colour. Yes, this might be a shorter video than usual for these, only because I haven't got as long today to do recording. Oops, move that down a little bit. Right, so we've got that. I'm going to put that lid on this glue. Right, so as I said, I mean, this brown paper is quite nice because it does fit with this brown. But I do want to start adding some of the other colour. So I'm just going to add some of the crayon. Now the nice thing about these crayons is you can then add water to them, which is what I'm going to do in just a second. So I'm just going to squiggle some colour in that corner. I'm going to have some green, perhaps down the middle, and as I said, I'm going to wash it out in a moment, so I know it looks like a hot mess. But I repeatedly try to remind myself to trust the process. And then this one we can have down here. Okay, so now using some spray, I'm just going to spray on some water, and then I'm just going to start moving this around a little bit and painting it out. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with the pink up here. It doesn't matter that I've got some blue on my brush. And then I'm going to do the same with the green. I'm going to blend it in with the blue. I mean, you have kind of lost that pale pink, but I'll sort that out in just a moment. I'm just going to give it a bit more spray, like so. Right, I'm going to use some tissue, and I'm just going to dab. I've also obviously got a lot of water around, but that's fine because we can just rub that off. Right, I'm going to come in with this colour again. Give my brush a bit of a rinse off. Again, just gently smudge it out a little bit without it blending away too much. I think I do want just a little bit more down in this corner. Yeah, so I hope you can see how fun these pastels are, and they do create such a really cool background colour effect as well. So I'm just going to damp that a little bit. Right, so I think next just having a little look at what else I've got in here. That one's old paper. So I'm wondering whether this is going to look like that neutral effect as well. So I might put some of this on. I think that will do. So I think now I'm just going to blast that with my heat gun. And I will do that very quickly off camera because obviously it gets very noisy. So I'll be back in just a second and then we can start the next phase. Right, okay, so I've dried that, but I'm thinking to add just a teensy bit more colour. I have pulled out my Memento bamboo leaves because I think that colour matches this one again very well. I'm not too fussed about the dark colour because I'm going to be doing some die cutting with the dark one at the moment. So I want the lighter colours for the background, and then the darker things are going to form part of the focal point. For this lighter colour, I'm also going to go over with some washi tape that I've got that's that colour. And then for the blue, I thought the salty ocean actually looks very much like that. So I'm going to just apply some ink over the distress crayons. So let's make sure that I'm doing the right colour. So that's a green. And I'm just going to brush on some green in places. Now it doesn't have to again be all over. It's just to kind of help add some colour. And then I'm going to use the blue. Okay, so the blue actually looks really, really good now. It's really coming up. So I'm happy with that. Again, I'm just going to give it a very quick blast with my heat gun just to dry the ink because I don't want to start then putting other things on top and getting myself covered in inks. Right, so that's had a quick blast with my heat gun. So as I said, for the lighter colour, I'm going to use some of this washi tape. And then that just gives it that neutral tone here and there as well. Because at the moment I think obviously there is a lot of colour on there, which is obviously fine. It's great. But I must say I'm really happy with these cards from Sarah Renee Clark. I did do, like I said, a little show and tell video, and I did explain how I wanted to use them. I really struggle with colour palettes and trying to figure out what colours go. I did study art at school, but I, for the life of me, do not remember anything about colour theory and how certain colours go together. I certainly don't remember doing any of that. So yeah, I just struggle with colour. So I thought these might be really handy in helping me to just gather ideas really of what kind of colours can go together. And like I said, really useful for me as a designer when I'm designing kits, because I do like vintage, so I do tend to go for more neutral tones. And I know this has neutral tones in it, but I don't know, I would have thought neutrals, and I would have thought greens, because I think nature and I think forest. But then obviously throwing the blue in there, now I know this is obviously a scene where there's a beach, but I wouldn't have necessarily thought of blue. I would have thought of those colours together, but I wouldn't have necessarily thought of the blue. So that's another thing that I quite like, is that it kind of makes you think of other colours you can be using with the colour palettes that you would perhaps normally use. Right, I was debating whether to do a background stamp, and then I remembered that I've got this washi tape that has these different kind of scripts and things, and as with a lot of things, it's something that's in my stash and has been in my stash for a very long time, so I'm thinking I need to start using it. So I'm going to use some of this in the background as well. And I know it's shiny, but it's just a different texture then, isn't it? So where's that end gone? Take that back down. Now I'm just going to pick bits from here that I want to use. So I do think that I want to get rid of that bit. So it says, "Dear my love, the leading lady, let's do this." So I don't want the leading lady part, so I'm going to cut that bit off. That's a bit better. Right, the next challenge is peeling the sticker away from the backing. Now there is a knack apparently of just pulling it down with your thumb, and that works for normal stickers, but it's never worked really for the washi tape. Oh no, it's done it, it's done it. There we go. And I'm going to stick this one here. Like so, and I'm going to stick the other one maybe about here. But it adds that lovely script without me necessarily having to stamp anything. Oh, got it and then lost it. There it is. So that can go there. And what I like is it's a roll and it's got different types of script. So that writing is different to this writing. And actually at the bottom there's another piece there, which is again in a different font. So I quite like that. I don't think I'm going to use any more washi for the second. Let's have a think. So I've kind of lost the dark brown now, but I was going to use that with this, wasn't I? So with the craft card and with this. And I was thinking of doing a die cut with this one because it's quite leafy, which I quite like. Now I know I'm not going to get the whole thing on there, but that's not too much of an issue. And I'm going to do the same for that one. So let's get right. So we've got the green and the brown then all cut out. Oh, there's still a piece in the middle of that one. So I want to be able to use these. I've also got one of these mushrooms that I quite liked as well. Now the only thing with these is this is from the Botanist Sticker Anthology, and if any of you have had this book, you will see that the stickers do actually have a border, which doesn't normally bother me, but I'm thinking I don't really want that on this one. I'm just trying to figure out which size mushroom do I want, because I actually quite like that. So maybe just a smaller mushroom. Or do I even want a mushroom? So I do quite like this. This is quite a nice colour palette. And this, like I said, these aren't colours that I would have thought. I would have thought of these, but not with the blue. But I think the blue's really making it pop. It's really lovely. I think I do want the butterflies then. And I may just do one of the like really small mushrooms, maybe to go in the corner. But I don't want quite so much of a border, so I am going to cut it out. So I'm just going to try and fussy cut it, and I hate fussy cutting, so I'm sorry. I will speed this bit up if I feel it's taking far too long. Right, so as well as the outline, I have tried to cut in between as well, so we'll see how that works and if I've cut it enough where it needs to be. That's better. Okay, so if these are going to get stuck there, I think I'm going to put him about there. So let's get these stuck down then. Right, I'm going to try this glue and see how well it does. It's very hard on here because obviously it's fine detail, so I'm just going to dot glue here and there. I mean, this does dry clear, so it doesn't matter too much if it kind of oozes out the side or anything like that. I'm just trying to get a little dot of glue here and there. Now, same as the Fabri-Tac and the beacon, with the Collage you have got a little bit of time to apply the glue, get it stuck down. Oops. So let's quickly try and get this one done. That's it. Now I do really like these colours, quite pleased with this already. Right, that's the glue on that one. And that's going to go that way. I can put the mushroom sticker down at the bottom. Okay, then I did like the butterfly, so I think I will still have the butterfly. And I do want the bigger one. Again though, I am going to give it a little bit of a fussy cut because I don't like the big borders, but again I will speed or skip this bit. I have cut off the antennae. I am not fussy cutting around those. Sometimes I just draw them in if I feel like it's really missing them. I think I'm going to have him up in that corner there. I think I might need to add a little bit of glue to the back of these stickers, obviously where I've got all the ink everywhere. Let's move all the rubbish. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with how this is looking. So we've got that. I kind of feel like it needs something else. So I might use my fine liner, and I'm going to create a border, and then I think it might need a sentiment. So I'm going to do the border first, and I do like just a good old-fashioned wiggly line border. So it does not have to be straight, which is lucky because there is no way you're going to get a straight line out of me. Even with a ruler, you'd be hard pushed. And then I'm going to go around again. Which is equally wibbly wobbly. But again, that's fine. But just creating this little border, it just kind of helps frame the picture a little bit and bring it together. I mean, listen to me like I know what I'm talking about. We can pretend I know what we're talking about anyway. Right, so that's that. But I feel I might put a little sentiment down here. I am going to add some glue to the back of that because that keeps peeling up. But I think that's just where I left it sitting for ages while I was trying to fiddle with the other bits. So I am just going to add some glue on the back of that. Push it back down. There we go. Right, let's see if we can perhaps find a sentiment that is suitable then for this. So as you've seen in my altered index cards, I have a quote sticker book, but I also have these pages as well. So I'm thinking I might want to use some of these. So these are all about New Year's, so we don't really want that one. I think I want black actually, so let's skip that one. Find joy in the ordinary, make it count. Live gently upon this earth. I quite like that one because they are nice earthy tones, aren't they? So you've got the light colours, you've got the greens, you've got the blues, which is earthly. So do we want that one? Yeah, live gently upon this earth. I think I'll go with that one. And I'm just going to simply lay it along the bottom here. Right, so there's my page for today. Something a little bit different. Like I said, inspired by this card, and I think that's worked really, really well. The colour palette I think is very similar. I think I'm probably going to do this more in the future, just pick a random card and try and stick to that kind of colour palette for the page. But yeah, I really like how that's come out. If you would like to find out more about these cards, as I said, there is a video that I posted recently. If I remember, I'll try and pop it down in the description so that you can see that, along with the link to Sophie's Facebook group if you want to join and watch the live that we did last week. If you have enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Feel free to drop me a comment. I do love reading those, and I do respond to everybody that does leave a comment. If you are not already a subscriber, again, I would love for you to do so. Make sure that you are also clicking that bell button. That way you are notified of any new crafty videos. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.